Hi, I'm Cammie, and this is my sister Kim, and we are in her kitchen today. Her beautiful kitchen in her beautiful home in Twin Falls. So, anyway, we came to visit.
We're glad you're here. I know. This is Brian's first time here, and Cammie's been here, and Emma's been here before. So, yeah, happy to have him.
Yay! Okay, so we're gonna make chocolate cake. Kim's the middle sister. So last we talked about my other sister, my oldest sister. Kim was the middle. She's the Jan of the family.
I am the Jan. It's very true.
I'm Cindy.
We're the forgotten one.
What?
In the middle.
Kim used to stay home with me on my birthday. And we'd stay. My birthday.
Oh, I totally get to skip school and
we
just
just
stay
play
home
with all
and
the
we play
toys.
with all of her toys that she got for the day.
But then I remember when she was going to junior high, and she was like, "I'm going to junior high.
I'm actually going to school.
I can't stay home with you on your birthday." And I was like,
what?
"Please stay home. Let's play."
I'm kind of sad. I should have. I should have
you
taken that time.
Whatever.
It's
I mean,
fine.
our dad was a school teacher, and he used to say, "You don't have to go to school. You're not going to learn anything."
That's true. I remember that.
Every morning, he'd come and get me. Boo, time to get up. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, never mind. You don't have to go to school. You're not going to learn anything. I'm like, Dad, you're a school teacher. Anyway, it's fine.
We love Pa.
All right. So chocolate cake. Tell us the story of chocolate cake.
Okay, so this is a great recipe. It's a chocolate cake recipe that I got from my mother-in-law, who got it from my sister-in-law, who grew up in Missouri. And she had it in her family, then passed it along to us, and now it's passed on to many people. It's been in many neighborhood cookbooks. And anytime a recipe calls for a chocolate cake, this is your go-to because it's moist, it's yummy, it's super simple, and you usually have all the ingredients in your home. So it's a great go-to.
There you go.
Recipe. Yep. So
Okay, and she's substituting for part of the oil unsweetened applesauce.
yes, I am, because it asks for a cup of oil. I just couldn't do it. That's just way too much oil. So I took half a cup, and then I get these little teeny cups that you get at the store in the individuals. That's the perfect amount. So you just add that instead, and I do the unsweetened.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
If your oil is a lot, because there are a lot of cake recipes that call for like a lot
and
of
these
oil.
are shelf stable. You can keep them for a long time.
Can you do that totally in place of the oil? Have you tried that?
I have not tried that, but that
Maybe we'll
could
have
be
to
a
try it.
possibility. It could
We
be
might
a
have to try that
possibility.
later.
That's true. And then, of course, you could do any size pan. Today we're doing just a normal 9x13, but you could do a bundt cake. You could do a bigger cookie sheet type pan and make it a little thinner cake. So lots of options that you could do.
More like a Texas sheet cake type
Yeah.
thing.
Yes. So anyway, it's
Awesome.
great.
And who doesn't love chocolate cake? I mean, I'm sure someone doesn't love chocolate cake, but I love chocolate cake.
We are chocolate addicts. So yes, chocolate cake is good.
We do.
Okay, so
Are
we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
all right, let's roll. So we start with 3 cups.
And you
flour.
start with your dry ingredients.
Dry ingredients, I do.
Interesting.
And the funny thing is, in this recipe, it actually calls for. Can you help me get that out?
It's out, I think.
Okay. This recipe calls for boiling water, which is what makes it super moist. It's very, very interesting. So you add your
2 cups of sugar.
2 cups of sugar. Half a cup of cocoa.
That's a lot of cocoa.
You add your, I say we do our salt and our baking soda. Let's do all of our dry.
So we have 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt.
And at that point, I just like mixing it a little bit just to get this all kind of mixed in before I add my wet.
Your dry ingredients.
Yeah, before I add my wet ingredients. Okay, that should be good. Then we'll add our eggs. 2 eggs. This is our half a cup oil. Our vanilla.
Look at this cool little measuring thing.
Amazon.
I mean, it has cups,
We should link it.
ounces.
It's really nice to melt butter
milliliters.
in because it's like straight up and down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you stick your stick of butter.
Stick of butter. All right, now we're just gonna slowly on the low mix these together. And then as that's going, I already have our water boiled. yes, of boiling water. Now this one you have to be kind of slow because I've made a mess with this where it ends up all over my kitchen. So you just kind of want to take it slow. Our cameraman might be able to speed this up.
Fast speed. Kim's the early bird to bed. She's
I am.
so she
And
me
I'm
and
not
my
even that early, but these guys
me
are
and my other sister were like night owls, and
stay up all hours. I
when
can't
we
do it.
all lived at home, we'd be in their room, and she'd be like, "Go to bed. I'm so tired. Just go to bed."
I gotta turn off the TV.
And we just make fun of her. You're such a whip. It's only 10:30.
It's very
Although we
true.
did stay up and watch David Letterman.
Yes, we did.
I used to sleep over in her room when I was little, and we'd watch David Letterman in her bedroom.
I loved it. And Christy and I shared a room when I got to be an older teenager, and that was really rough because she'd stay up way late, and I'd be in my corner with the lights out. Stop talking. I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, fun times. On top. And then we pour it in. Like I said, you can use cupcakes for this, any sort, size pan, bundt cake, anything for your you would use a chocolate cake for. 2 small ones for birthdays is kind of fun too.
See, I made my
Can you have a paper towel?
my
I think?
chocolate cookie last night. I'm trying stuff out for Christmas, and it's July, but and I did a chocolate cookie with a peppermint icing and a chocolate ganache. But you could do cupcakes like that.
Yes, and cupcakes are good. And sometimes I'll just do cupcakes like a dozen, and then I'll do one round with it. And that's nice that you can have a little bit of both. And then you go ahead and put it in at 350, and we're going to bake this here in Idaho. I bake it at 26 minutes to be exact. I kind of know what that pan requires, but you just want to be able to put a toothpick in it and know that it comes
So
out.
she has 20 to 25 minutes on the recipe, but she has to do 26. So
Depending on your elevation.
if for some reason you can't find a toothpick, you can use a thing of spaghetti.
Sure.
A spaghetti noodle to stick in.
Lovely. Or just a knife. Whatever works. But with applesauce, it takes a little bit longer than just with all the oil. Something about the applesauce, it just takes a little bit longer to cook. So we do it the 26 minutes, and that's really good without it sinking, because you don't want your cake to sink in the middle. So okay.
There you go. And then
That's it.
when
Now we're
it's-
going to show you the frosting after the
after
cake's
it's
done.
baked. Okay, so we're back. The cake is done. I was just informed that to this cute necklace.
Oh, I said, did you see my cute necklace?
And I'm like, yes, it's really cute.
I said, thanks. You and Christy gave it to me for my birthday in June.
Apparently,
Christy picked it
I
out.
gave it to her, but my other sister picked it out. So I didn't even know I gave it to her.
We picked it out together, and then, but yeah,
She picked it out.
it was just kind of funny. Sorry, just sidetrack.
Anyway, I mean, story of our lives. All right, so here's the beautiful cake, all cooked. It was in for actually like 27 minutes. So anyway, there you go. That's done. Now we're gonna make the frosting for it. Go ahead. What's in the frosting?
All right, so for the frosting, we are doing the 3 cups of powdered sugar. This is a 1/3 cup of butter. I've actually just left it out on the counter so it's super soft. And so we'll add that to here. Then I'll add my cocoa, my vanilla, just a touch of salt. This is just a buttercream frosting, just yummy buttercream. Works for many different cakes. I have a different one that I use sometimes if I'm doing like one of those fancy birthday cakes or something. But for this cake, I just really like this plain buttercream kind of frosting. And on the cocoa, you can add as much cocoa or as little as you want, depending on how chocolatey you like your frosting. So the recipe that I have calls for 1/4 cup, but you don't have to add a 1/4 cup. You can add less, more, however you like your
I have a
frosting to
recipe, a
look.
frosting recipe that takes a lot of cocoa.
Oh,
and then
yeah?
I just add a lot of powdered sugar. Like I have to double the powdered sugar in
Oh.
the recipe because it's so chocolatey.
Just too
which I could
chocolatey.
just cut down the cocoa.
Yeah, so you could just cut down the cocoa. Yeah, and so I just kind of go by look of how I kind of would like my chocolate to be. Sometimes I do it super dark and sometimes more milky. And then you do milk to consistency. So you'll just add your milk a little bit at a time and stir it in as you go. You don't want it to be too runny, obviously, or it makes a kind of spreads out funny on your cake and cupcakes. But you also don't want it super thick, so it's like you're almost eating
Fudge.
fudge. Yeah, you don't want that icky. So just kind
I
of
like fudge.
fudge is good, and this frosting is really good. But you just want to make sure the consistency. See, I like that color.
Yeah.
This is a really good color. Not too much, not too little. Okay, this looks like it's gonna be good.
Now we're gonna whip it.
Now I'm just gonna get it really
Whip it
good, so that
good.
you don't want any of the little crumblies from the powdered sugar. You could sip your powdered sugar if it's really too lumpy, so that you don't have your lumps in your powdered sugar. And there you go.
Okay, perfect. Chocolate frosting for your chocolate cake. We'll frost it as soon as this cools a little bit so it doesn't melt on. Okay, here's our cake, and it is beautiful and delicious, yummy chocolate goodness. Just a good old-fashioned chocolate cake. And you can do it in bundt can.
I knew what you meant.
You can do
You
it
do it
in
in
a
a
bundt
bundt.
pan. And you can either
Ganache it.
or ice maker. I was looking for a minute.
Alarmed by my ice maker.
So you can
Okay.
do
Ganache.
you can do a ganache, or you can pipe on like this
Like the
recipe of
buttercream.
frosting, or if you whatever. Or you can do like the thinner ones, more brownie-esque, in a pan like
They
this.
end up, they're pretty thick. This is pretty thick, so even in here it gets pretty tall. And then you can frost it, and it serves a lot more people. So that would be better for a,
It's a good reunion or party type
yeah,
food,
for a cake. Or I use it for funerals too. So
or funerals.
that's a little depressing. Sorry.
I mean, funerals need to feed a lot of people.
Right. That's what I meant.
Anyway, okay, so thanks for letting me be in
You're
your
welcome.
kitchen,
Thank
making
you.
your chocolate cake.
Thank
This is
you.
a great one to have in your recipe book because it's just a good old-fashioned chocolate cake.